Welcome back to SQL Made Simple. We've been following our SQL recipe. Select the fish from the river, where in our first lesson we learned how to select. That is choosing which fish to catch, deciding which river to fish in, which is from. Today, we are going to put select and from together in a real database that you will set up yourself. And by the end of this lesson, you will have Microsoft SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio installed. You would also have our practice database ready. So kindly download it from the URL shown on your screen, bit.ly/ all uppercase, it's case sensitive, SQL made easy. Kindly download that file as a text file and you run your first real queries to catch your fish from our river of data. So to start fishing, you need your tools. That's Microsoft SQL Server Express and SQL Server Management Studio. So I will be walking you through with screenshots of how you can set it up on your system. So the first thing you do is to go to Google or Bing and just search for install Microsoft SQL Server. You'll get to see the link. Click on it. It will move you to the website where you see this. So I did this today, which is the 10th of August. It might change depending on when Microsoft decides to update their website. So you scroll down, then you see this section, SQL Server 2022 Express. You click on download now. It will download the executable file. So that's what you have in your downloads folder on your system. You double click on it, it opens the installation dialog box where you select basic. Then it moves you to the next screen where you need to accept the license agreement. It moves on download and it will install all the required software. So once that is done, you hit on install SMS and that will also download and it'll take you to another website where you scroll down a bit. Then you come to download SMS 21. Then you move on to your downloads folder. You double click on the executable file. It will launch. You hit on continue and that should start the installation process. So once you finish installing, then you search for the SQL server, and before you see this page, you'll need to look at your server name, which is usually the computer's name. So that's my name / SQL Express. Then the authentication, you make sure it is Windows authentication. So once you do that, you should have this nice interface. So the next step is to click on new query. And once you do that, it opens this new interface for you where you copy and paste the code that you've downloaded from the link I gave earlier, bit.ly/SQL made easy, all in uppercase. Once you have that, copy and paste it. And once it's pasted, this is what you should have on your system. So once you have that, look for execute. So just click on execute and it will create the database. So once that has been created, you see there is a refresh button. You hit on it, it will refresh the database. And the next step is to expand the database option. So once it expands, then you should have your SQL made simple database. So in short, this is how you set up your system. And if you've been able to do that, thumbs up to you. You've done well. Okay, so now we're going to practice the select and from, and how are we going to do that? So now it's time to fish. So select means which fish you want to catch, and the from in this context means which river you are fishing in. So let's see how best we can apply that in our new environment. And I want you to have this at the back of your mind. This is the order if you want to master. Rhyme it, recall it, query like a pro. So select, top, distinct, from, join, where, group by, having, order by. You should have this memorized. Yeah. So we are focusing on select and from. Then when we finish with this series, then we will later consider looking at where. Then we will progress as we move on. We get into intermediate, then we do more advanced stuff. So I'm going to switch to my SQL, then we can do some practice here. Okay, so I'm going to connect, and I'm going to expand my database just to make sure that I've got my SQL made simple database. Then I expand, I have my tables. So the first thing we do is to fetch all the fish in the people river. So this is the people database. So in order to do that, you move. So let's explore the database. So we have department, employees, order details, order, people, product, and what? Suppliers. So what you need to do is to click on a new query. So once we select our new query, you make sure we come to the master, and we are dealing with SQL made simple database. So that is where we'll be querying from. So we're going to catch all fish in the people river. So this is how you make comments in your SQL code. So you use a double dash, or you can do a forward slash and a wildcard. Then we can come down and keep writing the comment. But when we finish, we do an asterisk and another before we write our code. So these are various ways we can write our comment. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the double dash. Okay, so we're going to select. So this is our first select statement that we talked about, and from. So the from here is making reference to which database. So you're looking at the people database. So we go back. I'm selecting from people. So that's the first thing. And what are we selecting? So if I use the wildcard, it will give me all the fish in the people river. That is all the fields in the people database. So I'm going to execute. And once it's executed, you see person ID, first name, last name, gender, date of birth, phone number, and all of that. But what if, so let me bring my semicolon just to end the code. So what if I want to catch only the first name and the last name? Okay, so I only want the first name and last name from the people table. Yeah. So this is what I want. So the first name and the last name, and look at how it's been spelled. So it's a capital F, capital N, capital L, capital N. So let's see how that's going to work. So we go to select. So select, and you're selecting from people. So people, and what are we selecting? So the first name, then you bring a comma. So that's the first column you're selecting. Then the last name. So once you end, you see no issues found. And now we're going to run the code. So once we execute, you're only going to see first name, last name. So you're only catching the first name and the last name from the people table. So I believe that is okay. So if we decide to add another column, so I want us to run this code. So I'll highlight this to run. And assuming I want to add the region to this, and I'll do a comma, then I'll add region. So this is my last column, so I don't need to bring another comma. So all that I need to do is to select and execute. So once I execute, first name, last name, region. So this is how you select the entire table with a wildcard, select all wildcard, which is this. So you use this for that. Or you can just name the individual columns that you want to see. So good job working on select and from statement. So let's head back into our presentation to continue. Okay, well done. So this is a workplace step. So in your day-to-day work with SQL, always specify the columns you need in your select statement instead of using the asterisk or the wildcard select all. So this makes your queries more efficient and easier to understand for others reading your code. Okay. And I just want to remind you that as a data analyst, you need to have some strong skills in Microsoft Excel, and you can only do this practically with the Microsoft Office Specialist certification from Certiport. And once you go through this program, you will get the required skills for that. And I run a Certiport authorized testing center, which means I can give you access to discounted certification vouchers, provide you with a training, and even proctor your exams from the comfort of your home. So these certifications have personally sharpened how I use IT, both as an educator and as a data analyst. In this presentation that you see, I only used PowerPoint, a bit of animation, nice design, and you're good to go. So if you want these skill sets, hop on board with a Microsoft Office specialist. So if you want access to the prices, just visit my website, fitgh.net/shop. So what did we learn today? We installed our fishing tools, which is the SQL Server and SSMS. We set up the river, our practice database, and caught our first fish using select and from. So in our next lesson, we will add the where, the part of the recipe that helps us choose exactly which fish to catch. Remember, you can always download the database script at bit.ly slash all uppercase case sensitive SQL made simple. If you found this useful, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. And see you in the next lesson. Blessings.